Come to order, please. I will call the Paulding County Industrial Building Authority to order for its regular February meeting. You have a copy of the agenda. It is a revised agenda that was published this morning, and it includes item E under section 3, an additional resolution supporting and authorizing local legislation. Is there any other changes or additions to the agenda?
No, sir.
All right, hearing none, we'll begin. I do note that Commissioner Pownell had entered the room at some point today, and I see Commissioner Graham. Is there any other elected officials? Thank you for being here. The first item of business is the approval of minutes from the January 15th, 2014 meeting. You received a copy of those. Did anybody note any errors or omissions?
Move to approve.
I have a motion from Chairman Austin to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mayor Debbie. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. The next item is the approval of the financial statement. You received those via email. If you've had a chance to peruse those, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Underwood, a second by Chairman Austin. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Reports and updates. Item A is a report from Atlanta Film Studios, Paulding County Roadtown Enterprises.
As we are obviously running nearly an hour behind this morning, I'm not going to go through this report with you. You have it in your backup documentation. It's a two-page report from Roadtown. You can take a look at that at your convenience. If you have questions for me or Nick or Jeremy, then just please let me know. I will say that they are very hopeful of having an announcement this week. They're very, very close. So do hope for some good news this week.
All right. Any questions, Blake, on the film studios? If not, we'll move to an update on corporate hangar.
We've got Branson here with Prime, who will be giving the update on the hangar this morning.
As you can tell when you pulled in, we do have progress. We got the steel shell erected. They're working on the office end now. Hopefully by the middle of next week, we'll start putting siding and roofing on it, and then we'll get on the inside and start doing some electrical and heating and air, things of that nature. So, of course, the couple of weeks we lost with the snow, so we're moving pretty good. Any questions? No question.
What's the timetable, Richard? Did I miss that?
Right now, we're probably in the middle of May.
Okay.
We'll add one thing. We did have insurance adjuster here yesterday. As you all are aware, once we began assembling it and putting the building up, we did find some pieces that were not usable from tornado damage, and we did have to notify our insurance company to come back out and take a look at some material that was deemed to be not usable. So we do have that claim in the works for that material.
That's the continuation of the 2012 claim,
That's
and is
correct.
reimbursable and works through the change orders that way.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else on the corporate hangar? Thank you, Branson.
Yes.
Update on Dallas Industrial Park.
Just one quick update on Dallas Industrial Park. They are about 70% done, maybe 75% done with the sewer lift station at this point in time. They do have an anticipated completion date of sometime in the middle of March on that. So we are getting very near having that infrastructure completed in the park.
All right. Update on Paulding Commerce Park.
Update on Paulding Commerce Park, we do have an agreement that we will cover a little bit later for the signage that's going to be going up at the entrance to the park. Contractor is ready to get started with the installation of the signage. You do have in your backup documentation some exhibits of the signage, so you can take a look at those. Looking forward to having the opening for Interroll there next month. I'm sure Jamie will touch on that here in just a few moments, but we continue to have very, very good showings in that park each time someone from the state or Georgia Power brings a a potential client out, that park shows very, very well.
Any other questions on the Commerce Park? Report from the West Georgia Joint Development Authority, Mr. Shipp.
Met on the 23rd, confirmed officers for the coming year. Chairman is Tim Warren out of Carroll County, and I'm Vice Chairman, and Treasurer is Richard Davis from Harrelson. Discussion still centers on how to market this group of counties as one entity. And we spent some time on how to target specific potential clients and how to work the website in a way that we would direct these clients to us. That's sort of the business item. Some of the discussion from the other counties was interesting. That Polk County announced they'd had $100 million in 2013 in capital expenditures from new corporate entities. Carroll County, $264 million. Pretty good amount of money coming in here. And one of the hosting events that we will be doing coming up in April is for the Japanese ambassador. There are so many companies now in this 5-county region that are affiliated with Japanese corporations that the ambassador from Japan is coming down to do some touring, and part of that is hosting a baseball game between a team from Japanese Little League team and the Cedartown team. So that'll be an interesting day. And the last item is that the Department of Community Affairs is hosting the Academy for Economic Development in our region in August. So if anybody needs to attend that academy, it'll be one day a month for 4 months.
And that's an excellent class to go through for either elected officials or the general public are welcome to accomplish that. Anything else on the West Georgia Joint Development Authority? Thank you, Alan, for all the work that you do there and for moving into leadership. Report from the Chamber, Carolyn Wright.
Goodness. Well, thank you, David, for our State of the County address. It was wonderful, and we appreciate all that you do. Well, our March Georgia Power Luncheon will be a tour of the new Wellstar Hospital. A few of us got a glimpse of it last night, and it was just absolutely incredible and wonderful. So we will be doing tours, and Mark will be doing a small report about the hospital. That is on March 6th. Our industry appreciation breakfast will be here again, and we'll be honoring the manufacturer of the year and the industry of the year, April 15th. So I hope y'all have that down on your calendar. We will be honoring those businesses. And that's it.
I want to reiterate what Carolyn said for the general public. When you get the opportunity, take it and go see the hospital. I know they're going to do some preview days before they open in April. It is an incredible facility. It's hard to believe that that's a Paulding County Hospital. Having seen the iterations of the hospital in my lifetime, it is beyond words. It's awesome, and will be a great draw for us both in a number.
There is limited seating or
You have to
for
buy
that tour.
tickets in advance.
Yes, if you would like to go to that luncheon.
Report from the Paulding Economic Development Organization, Jamie Gilbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quick update on a few of our projects that we've been working on. First, I do want to mention that the City of Hiram has appointed 2 new members to our Board of Directors. So Buddy Harrelson and Herb Haynes are our 2 Hiram representatives now on the board. We have selected an industrial broker. We had a meeting, it was Blake and Panatoni and myself that met with interviewed several industrial brokers to try to find a brokerage firm that would list the Paulding Commerce Park for us. And after those interviews, we selected CBRE, which is the largest industrial brokerage firm, not just in the United States, but Atlanta also. And they bring a lot of contacts to the table. and they're very good at what they do. So we're going to be partnering with them to help market the park. Attended the International Poultry Expo. It's a 3-day event. Unfortunately, I only got to attend 1 day of it because the snow hit, and spent had 9 hours spent out basically on I-20 with Thad Morrison, who went to the show with me. So we camped out on I-20 at Six Flags, and it was a very, very interesting day. We have some ads that are running right now. Modern Material Handling, that ad is out there. That's going out to 80,000 subscribers. It's in the same magazine as the Interroll ad, and our booth is listed for the MODEX show in that magazine. So we're hoping to draw a lot of traffic and attention to Paulding. The Interroll grand opening is set for March the 16th. They're expecting a pretty big turnout. They've actually turned this into a fundraiser. They're going to have a charity event there with a clay shoot that will be for both Helping Hands of Paulding County and for a group in Atlanta called the Study Hall. In relation, kind of related to the whole opening and with the hospital that was touched on earlier, I have John Bachman scheduled to come out here sometime next week to do a follow-up story on the one he did in 2012 when we announced the Enroll project. And at that time, he profiled the Enroll project and Wellstar under construction. So this is kind of a follow-up to all that, how these two projects have now come to fruition. So that will be probably sometime next week. Our trade show booth will make its debut at MODEX March the 17th through the 20th. I'll pass this around. This is what the booth looks like. That's the design for it. So we're pretty happy with how that turned out. We have started the process of contacting companies that are going to be there at the show to set up some meetings with them. Our website is nearly finished. We expect it to make its launch next month. Looks really good. A lot of great information on there. A lot of, again, it's really oriented towards the folks we work with at Georgia Department of Economic Development, Georgia Power consultants and companies that may be looking at Paulding County. So that will come out probably in March. We're also looking to do the JEC Americas show, which is a composite show in Atlanta, which will be in June, and we're looking at booth options and space for that. And then finally, as far as projects, we've seen a lot of activity in the last couple of weeks. As Blake had touched on, the Paulding Commerce Park is showing exceptionally well, and I think that has now driven interest from the state to bring more projects to us. So we've seen a couple of projects we've had to respond to. One is a big food processing company. It could be anywhere to upwards of $90 million project. So we put a proposal together for that, and that went out earlier this week. And then we have what we believe is an auto supplier that is also considering Paulding, and we're one of a few locations in the state for that one as well. So that went out. We had some bad news on Project Cool that we had talked about before, which was the other food processing company. We had made the list of the final 4 locations in Georgia for the project, but I think because of the truck volume that they had, which was over 100 trucks a day, the logistics part killed us. Not being close enough to the interstate for something of that level of truck traffic. It was even though it was production, it was more like a distribution facility. So that's one of those types of projects we're not typically going to be successful at getting, but we did make the final 4 on that one. And then finally, we have a meeting tomorrow with a company that manufactures equipment. Again, machinery and equipment, when you talk about Interroll and Simmons Engineering and Rocky, that's become one of our big target industries. So we will be meeting with that company tomorrow, and they're interested in Paulding, and that's probably about 35 new jobs that would come to Paulding if we could get them in. And I know that they're very interested in Paulding, so we'll start that process tomorrow with them. Any questions?
Also, the East Hiram Parkway has opened and made that transition a lot easier and flow of material through there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be the primary truck route, I would think, for most of the companies, whether they're suppliers or finished goods going out from Paulding Commerce Park. That's going to be the way to go. It's great. It's a great road.
Any other questions for Jamie?
Chairman, as a follow-up to something Jamie mentioned, we did go through the selection process for the real estate entity to market the Paulding Commerce Park. We have selected CBRE as our partner for that. As Jamie mentioned, they're the largest industrial group, industrial marketer in Atlanta and the country. We do have a tentative agreement that Tom has been looking at and I've been looking at. We've not finalized that agreement yet, which is the reason that it's not on your agenda. We're still working out some of the details, but we do have that in the works, and we'll certainly be bringing that to you at the next meeting, if not before then. So I wanted to just make you aware that agreement is being finalized at this time.
All right, thank you, Jamie. We'll move down to the approval section. Section 3, item A, the document retention policy.
Mr. Chairman, that's the same, well, not essentially, again, it is exactly the same document retention policy that the airport authority approved earlier this morning. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you.
Is there a motion on the adoption of?
Motion to
I have a motion by Mr. Underwood. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Shipp. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Second item is the public participation policy for IBA meetings. Tom?
Although you haven't gotten nearly the request to speak from the public at the IBA meeting, since you did on policy this morning for the airport authority, that's just out there. That's the same proposals that I gave to you, just gave you just different ways to propose it. You can adopt, you don't have to adopt a policy at all. You could adopt the exact same policy that you adopted this morning for the airport authority, or you could adopt something lesser or more than that. It's your prerogative.
I make a motion to adopt the same policy.
With the same changes?
Yes.
I have a motion by Chairman Austin. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mayor Debbie. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Approve or begin negotiations with the, for the lease on the corporate hangar.
I'll make a motion about that.
There's not really any further update on that. We do have a proposal in front of us, but in order to take that to a lease agreement, we need to just negotiate the terms of the lease based on the proposal. So, I would like to have at least one IBA member, if possible, to be a part of that lease negotiation as we move forward.
Mr. Shipp, would you be willing to serve in that capacity?
Yes, sir. No problem.
Can I get a motion to approve the appointment for him to serve and then to proceed with lease negotiations? Moved by Chairman Austin, second by Ms. Wright. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. The signed contract for Paulding Commerce Park. Blake?
As I updated you just a moment ago, in Paulding Commerce Park, you do have some documents in your backup documentation. One document has what looks like a very complicated engineering drawing on the front. You can, for the most part, ignore that drawing and flip to page 2 and page 3, which show you the layout and configuration of the sign. Did work with Chairman Austin on this. He had a couple of months ago volunteered to work with Jamie and I on the design, layout, and location of the sign. So that is what we've selected. I have also in your backup documentation, you have a proposal from Denice Signs, which is located in Douglas County. They are the entity that designed this sign. It is, for all practical purposes, a design build. In other words, there was no charge to design it. The design charge is built into the construction. The proposal here is for a total not to exceed $48,129.21. If there's any questions on the design, location, or contract, I'd be glad to address them.
Do they also do the landscaping?
They do not do the landscaping. We will need to engage someone to design the landscaping, and then, of course, we'll need to get the pricing on the landscaping. We wanted to get the signage designed first and get them started, and then design the landscape around the signage. There are companies out there that do both, but there's not a whole lot of companies out there that do both. And we felt that the signage in this particular case was more significant to us than the landscape. Not that the landscape's not important, but designating that as a Class A park really has a lot more to do with the signage than it does with the landscape. But we will be getting proposals in on the landscape design, and then, of course, we'll get pricing on the landscape.
Can the sign be installed before the grand opening?
Yes, it will. The sign will be in place before the grand opening. Yes, sir.
Have we gone out to get any bids to do the electrical for the sign?
It's all inclusive.
All right, you've seen the proposals, there's a motion.
It did, because it says electrical to the sign to be provided by others.
The electrical to the sign has to be done by Georgia
That's-
Power.
Okay.
So that there's not a contractor involved with that, it's just a
Okay.
power company.
There'll be a meter set from the sign, the lights. All right, is there a motion on the approval of the contract? Have a motion by Chairman Austin, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Underwood, any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, passes unanimously, everybody's quiet. And the final item is item E, the approval of the resolution authorizing and supporting local legislation, further define and prescribe the powers and duties of the IBA. Tom, you want to address that?
Yes, this is the same resolution, Mr. Chairman, that you approved, the airport authority approved this morning. It basically is a resolution to be submitted to the local delegation, asking them to introduce local legislation that would prescribe and define the powers of the industrial building authority as contained in the constitutional amendment that created it in 1962.
Any questions?
Make a motion.
Have a motion by Mr. Underwood to approve, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Wright, any discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimously. We do need to go into executive session to discuss a land transaction and potential or existing litigation. Is there a motion for that purpose? Have a motion by Mayor Debbie, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Wright, any discussion? All those in favor? We will return shortly.